At least 3 people are shot and 2 are dead in just 3 days in Kenosha. Is this still just a peaceful protest, Joe Biden? Wait, what? The fuck are these psychos doing? Is he like literally, he's just using like a Blue Lives Matter guy killing. Okay, let's start talking about this. There is no way this doesn't get worse. And a big part of the reason that this will get worse is because these sick fucks like Charlie are making it seem like it's the Democrats' fault that a fucking psychotic ANCAP with a gun and a boner wanted to defend property in another state. Like, what are you, fucking insane, dude? Is out-of-state white agitators also a projection, a point of projection by Republicans? And now it's going to be worse because Donald Trump is sending in the Gestapo again. It's bad when a trained group of fucking psychos who are tasked with protecting and serving fail to do their duty and start shooting black people or start harming protesters. So of course it's going to be worse when untrained people are doing that defending and protecting and serving. This is completely irresponsible and completely unacceptable. And the police have even more blood on their hands now, defending private businesses. And now 2 people are dead and a 3rd is injured because a 17-year-old decided to leave Illinois, go to Wisconsin, travel across state lines. A pro Blue Lives Matter 17-year-old ANCAP decided to go across state lines and defend a gas station and numerous other private properties with his AR-15. If you're wondering why the white kid who shot and killed multiple protesters could walk calmly to police immediately after without getting apprehended, here he is minutes earlier going up to their armored trucks to get water they offered him and his armed militia crew. This is a cell phone video showing Kenosha, Wisconsin police officers in a military vehicle telling armed white militia members they appreciate them being there and giving them bottled water, while in the background cops can be heard ordering protesters to disperse.
Hey, thank you guys. You need water? Seriously. Guys to our right, you need water. We need water. We'll throw you one. Thank you. Alright, come on guys, let's get out of here. Damn. Which way should we go?
That's him. That's the shooter, by the way. Like, remember, black people marching through the streets is cause for concern, so much so that you fucking bring out your gun, brandish it, and point it at people with the intent to kill while they're exercising their First Amendment right. And then that guy gets fucking that guy gets to speak at the RNC. But when you're, when you're the son of that fucking white family, pretty much, who travels across state borders to go and defend a fucking gas station or defend private property in an area 100 miles away from you, then cops help you. You can just run around with an AR-15 and cops will fucking help you and give you water.
We got a couple. We got to save a couple, but we'll give you a couple. We appreciate you guys. We really do.
This is not after. This is not after the shooting. This is before. I saw videos last night when this stuff was unfolding of the first guy that he shot in the head. It was a white dude running into the middle of the crowd, and he just kept saying the N-word, and he kept saying, like, shoot me then, and then he literally got shot, the first guy that got shot. I don't understand it. The reason why I mentioned that part, though, the N-word part, is I don't know if he was part of the BLM side or not. Like, I don't know what was going on. The point is, it's fucking chaotic. These instances are chaotic. And there's 2 ways to avoid this chaos. Either you come down with the strong dick of the law and do the law and order agitation and start clapping protesters, just like straight up take it away from the hands of these very enthusiastic, psychopathic, ANCAP, Blue Lives Matter morons, and give that power back, the monopoly of violence back in the hands of the state so that they can do what they do best. Or you let them protest, defend them while they're protesting, kind of like how Nazis get that fucking defense from cops, whether they're black cops or white cops or brown cops, doesn't matter. Either let the protesters protest without harming them, without hitting them, without tear gassing them, and then at the end of that protest, listen to their demands and tell them that you are going to make concessions, or you go further and further right. And under Donald Trump, we are going further and further right. Shooter was also interviewed by the Daily Caller. The Daily Caller literally has like Full interview with the shooter. Watch.
Business. What are you doing out here? Obviously, you're armed and you're in front of this business we saw burning last night. So what's up?
So people are getting injured, and our job is to protect this business, and part of my job is to also help people. If there's somebody hurt, I'm running into harm's way. That's why I have my rifle, because I need to protect myself, obviously, but I also have my med kit.
Yeah, he doesn't have gloves on because he's worried about coronavirus, dog. He doesn't have gloves on because he doesn't want to have fingerprints. It's just LARP. It's literally fucking LARP. Does he truly want to make sure that he hides fingerprints if he fucking ends up killing someone? No, it's just literally because it's a part of the LARP. He's from Antioch, Illinois. Illinois is extremely close to Kenosha. It doesn't matter. Him crossing the fucking state border is not the most significant part of this process, guys. The most significant part of this process is the fact that he fucking took out a weapon illegally and went over to Kenosha to defend a fucking business. Oh, it's close? Okay. I guess it's okay then to do that. Like, what's more important? The life of property that you don't even fucking own yourself, or the lives of people? Like, if you care about property, you care about property because of the damages that it might do to people. So in your effort to defend someone else's property, because you care about that person, I guess. But I don't believe that, by the way. I don't believe any of these people truly care about another person's property, even let alone their own property that much. I think they more so want to LARP and shoot people. Like they want to live out their fucking fantasies.
From the citizens, and I just got pepper sprayed by a person in the crowd.
So you had non-lethal, but you didn't respond.
We don't have non-lethal.
Dude, he said we don't have non-lethal. This guy is like fucking making it seem like he's a good person because he's a fucking Blaze TV host, of course. He did not make racist comments. Oh, I'm sorry. This 17-year-old who killed fucking 2 people and then severely injured a third with an AR-15 was actually a good person because he didn't say the fucking N-word with a hard R while I was interviewing for 21 seconds. So I guess he's all right then. Like, his actions in this circumstance are enough.
So you guys are full on ready to defend the property?
Yes, we are. Now, if I can ask, can you guys step back? Medical, EMS right here.
Protest, get fucked, 2 people died. Yeah. By this guy who's a fucking Blue Lives Matter kid. Like, what the fuck? How is it that even when their side kills people, it's still the fucking protesters' fault? 24 hours after, a black dude who was unarmed got shot by cops 7 times point blank in the back in front of his fucking children while he was entering his own car. And all of these psychos that defended him are now also defending this guy. He has a gun and he killed people, but he was somehow able to be apprehended peacefully. What the fuck? He's got America Crocs on his feet. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. He shot people who attacked him, you goblin? No, the first person that he shot did not fucking attack him. After that, people were rushing him to get his gun out of his fucking hands because he shot and killed someone. What the fuck are you saying, dude? Sorry, the fucking San Bernardino shooters actually weren't terrorists. They were just defending themselves. They were heavily armed and they were just defending themselves. You could never make that argument because that's a psychotic argument. This is fucking insane, dude. How? Like, the disparity blows my mind. You are very clearly unable to see. You are very clearly unable to see your own fucking biases, man. So they're allowed to enact justice now? Thought that was wrong? There's a difference between vigilante justice, which is what this fucking kid was doing. Technically, literally what he was doing is vigilanteism, which I'm criticizing, and self-defense after you have killed someone. I'm so fucking confused as to how people could look at this situation and be like, nah, dude, like, it was deserved. If you can justify this, you can justify anything. This is at the heart of my criticisms too, where I say, like, don't fucking bring a gun to a protest, please. Like, how do they think this, what kind of precedent do they think this is setting when they say shit like this? Cassandra Fairbanks saying, yeah, I'm literally just sitting here like, maybe now some people will think twice about going to riot tomorrow.
This is a quote from the Kenosha Chief of Police in 2018.
Sheriff Beth on January 25th news conference, I'm to the point that I think society has come to a threshold where some people aren't worth saving. We need to build warehouses, put these people into it, and lock them away for the rest of their lives. He continues saying, let's put them in jail. Let's stop them from going out and getting 10 other women pregnant and having small children. Let's put them away. We have to get to the point where we will no longer put up with the garbage people that fill our communities. They're a cancer to our society. Joe Biden released a video condemning the violent protest. No mention of the armed militia. Way to play into the narrative. I guess that's the meta. I guess liberals are not going to condemn the actual fucking shooting itself and condemn the violent protest that caused it, I guess. But if the violent protest caused a shooting to happen, don't you comprehend that the violent protests happened as a consequence of the violent police force that is at the heart of this matter? The police force and its routine, disproportionate use of deadly force with zero accountability. That is literally the reason why people are protesting. The kid running away and shooting people video is one I have seen, but that's after he has already killed someone, for the record. This is after he's on the ground and he's shooting people. This is after he has killed a person. They're chasing him. He shoots another person, starts slowly walking away after he shoots two people and killing the other person. They were chasing him because they wanted to get his gun, because he had already killed someone. Of course, other people, once you have killed someone with an AR-15, are going to go, oh fuck, this guy who is running around with an AR-15 defending property took it a little too far defending a property. The video statement from the Kenosha police say that he was resolving a situation.
The curfew's in place to protect. Had persons not been out involved in violation of that, perhaps.
Wait, that person was not involved in the violation?
I'm not gonna make a great deal of that, but the point is the curfew's in place to protect. Had persons not been out involved in violation of that, perhaps the situation that unfolded.
Oh, I didn't realize that when you place a curfew because you're worried that people are going to protest your fucking police force for trying to execute someone point blank range, then you can die. Like, you just, hey, sorry, you violated the curfew, you fucking die, dude. You violated the curfew, you die in the hands of a 17-year-old with an AR-15. That's just the cost of doing business.
That would not have happened. So the last night, a 17-year-old individual from Antioch, Illinois, was involved in the use of firearms to resolve whatever conflict was in place. The result of it was two people are dead.
I guess it's okay. If you have an AR-15 and you violate curfew. Picture the fake Molotov cocktail people lied about in order to say it was self-defense is a plastic bag. Yeah, I didn't see a fucking Molotov cocktail. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. I wonder if every single chud who was saying this guy was a violent agitator with a Molotov cocktail are going to shut the fuck up now. But it doesn't matter because the goalposts are going to move and they're going to say, well, it doesn't matter. He was rushing the guy with a fucking weapon, so he deserved to die. It's great. It really doesn't matter. If you own a gun, don't go and defend someone else's property. I've been saying this from day one. Okay? You sound like Facebook now. Dog, if Facebook were actually doing this, they wouldn't have fucking let an event that was basically a call to arms throw an event in Kenosha. They only deleted it after. They only banned it after 2 people died and a third one was critically injured. What's stopping us from arming ourselves and just handling these chuds ourselves? No. This happens when you fucking arm yourselves and try to handle these chuds. Oh. Anyway, he's now been charged with first-degree murder. Yes, I know. And he's been labeled a fugitive from justice. The complaint states that Rittenhouse fled the state of Wisconsin with the intent to avoid prosecution for that offense. That dude came out with the deliberate intent with an AR-15 to an area of conflict so he could fucking use that AR-15. And he actually had a situation to use that AR-15. Even if he didn't intend to use his AR-15, which we know he did, still the fact that he armed himself and went to a point of conflict, an area of conflict, is completely psychotic. Oh yeah, here. This was Facebook, by the way, banning. Here's the call for right-wing militia to go to Kenosha. They came armed, 2 people killed, 1 injured. This was hosted on Facebook. The Facebook event scheduled for 8 p.m. at Civic Center Park today outlines the agenda asking for armed citizens to protect our lives and property. People saying the guy charged the kid with a pipe? No, he didn't. If the dude... Listen, all right, here. I'll find a position where it's defensible. Are you ready for this? So that maybe this will clear it up with some of the people who are at the margins of being a chud, rather than continuously talking about the issue over and over again and repeating my same arguments. If you are a small business owner and you are sitting inside of your fucking property and you see people breaking into your property and trying to attack you in the process, only in that circumstance is it acceptable after you try to de-escalate where you shoot someone, okay? That is legally allowed. You can literally do that. You can do that if you are defending yourself, your own life, your own safety and your own business in that process. If you are a 17-year-old who travels across state borders to go to an area of conflict with an AR-15, and you sit in the middle of a protest and someone rushes you and you fucking clap them, and then you run away, and while other people are trying to get your gun away from you because you've already killed someone at that point, and you start killing other people, then there is no grounds. Like, you have no legal ground. You have done terrorism. You were there with a weapon to begin with. This is why. This is at the heart of fucking sensible gun legislation, sensible gun laws. This is why we say having a gun makes it infinitely more likely that you are going to use a gun. And having a gun in every instance escalates that into a violent confrontation. Whenever these sorts of things happen, battle lines are drawn. And the people on the right, if the shooter is white and the victim is supposedly on the side of BLM, even if we don't know, but if the shooter is literally fucking white and says he wanted to defend property, he fits a certain mold, they're going to defend him. And not only are they going to defend him, but those psychos then on top of that are going to spread misinformation to justify it. This exact same thing happened in fucking Texas, where a military veteran with an AK-47 was pushing his paraplegic or quadriplegic wife away from a dude who drove into a crowd and then was killed. But battle lines were drawn. So people lied. They said that the veteran in Texas actually was shooting his AR-15 or his AK-47. What about the two dipshits that ran to the armed dude? What about those two dipshits that ran at the armed dude? Were they not also at fault? What about them?
Oh, you're such a bitch.
Are you fucking insane?
Son.
I thought if that was a black guy with a fucking weapon who said he's there to defend property, but if defend property was a code word for like killing whites or whatever white people think black people do with guns, and two brave white citizens rushed that black guy with a weapon and they got killed in the process, you think we would be having this conversation? You think we would be having a conversation? You think these same people would turn around and say, oh, that guy's a brave hero? Yeah, don't rush the school shooter, guys. He's defending property. That kid's gonna get decades in prison. You're crazy. I don't know, man. I say he gets community service, maybe. They're gonna run the self-defense line. They're gonna say he's a good kid, and then he'll get propped up by right-wing Republicans, and he'll be a speaker at the RNC next year, or not next year, in the next 4 years. Sorry. When there was an interview before and he had no ill intent, he also had a med kit with him to help people, saying he was there for pure violence as presumed intent. Dude, it doesn't matter if he has a fucking med kit. Cops have fucking med kits too. And then they go out and clap 14-year-old black kids. Oh, you can't presume that their intent was to kill that black person. At least the cop is usually patrolling a neighborhood, and that's his literal duty. This kid went to an area of conflict with an AR-15. Oh, he had a med kit. Okay, so it's okay for it when he killed 2 people and severely injured a third. Maybe don't mob someone who's carrying an assault rifle. I'm so confused by this. I'm so insanely confused by this logic. Why is it? So where are the good guys without guns in that circumstance? So there are no good guys. The good guy is completely conditional and dependent on the color of the skin of the shooter. Is that it? Even if the kid didn't have intent to kill because he shot the dude in the head, but even if the kid didn't have intent to kill, that's still the fucking problem, okay? If he freaked out and shot someone that was rushing him, that's still at the heart of my criticism. Don't go to an area of conflict with an AR-15 and then do a surprise Pikachu face when you get rushed and you fucking clap someone and now you're going to jail. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing there? You're open carrying and you're fucking brandishing your weapon at protesters. That's the rap. That is highly illegal. You know why? Because when you do that, you have an intent to agitate. Okay? It is unsafe. You're using your weapon in an unsafe capacity because everyone understands, no matter how fucking pro-gun they are, everyone understands that having a gun out and brandished increases the likelihood that this conflict is going to escalate the violence. So we should have let the guy rush him. He shouldn't have been there in the first place, which is why he's fucking getting criminally charged anyway. When motherfuckers rush someone with a gun, especially after they've already killed someone, it's completely dependent on whether or not you assume that the kid's a hero or not, okay? It's crazy. So you rush a school shooter, you're a hero. You rush someone who has killed someone, with a gun or without a gun, doesn't matter. You rush someone who has already killed someone. Normally, in most reasonable circumstances, you would be considered a fucking hero. But in this situation, because you like the kid, because you think what he stands for is true and just, and you hate the fucking people that are like burning down properties or whatever the fuck, you're like, oh no, it's totally acceptable and it's totally reasonable. This is not like George Floyd, where even Republicans immediately were like, okay, this is fucked up. Like, we can't really defend this. And only later where they actually got a little bit more emboldened to try and defend the cops, but didn't really end up defending the cops. This is 1000%, without a doubt, an instance where they're going to try. I think they're going to try and defend it. I think they're going to try and defend this kid for sure. They're going to say it's self-defense. They're going to say he's 17 years old. They're going to say he's a proud American. Pump up his background with like the Blue Lives Matter shit. Talk about how Christian he is or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I mean, this is at the heart of the matter. Kenosha cops can shoot Jacob Blake in the back 7 times, but literally drive away from the militia cosplayer kid running to them with his hands up after killing 2 people with a rifle, only arresting him today. Solid police work. It's 100% at the heart of this controversy. The police chief already engaged in language that comes to defend him, that rush to defend him, saying, well, you know, if people weren't out after curfew, like none of this would have happened. Yeah, let's attack people for brandishing, then do a surprise. Do you know what brandishing is? You don't know what brandishing is. Okay? Brandishing in most circumstances is illegal. Brandishing is what the fucking St. Louis mom and dad did. That's why they got their guns taken away from them. Even fucking gun nuts understand that having a gun or carrying a gun should only be done in the most responsible fashion possible. And that's precisely why there are literally laws built around the different distinctions of brandishing or carrying or concealed carrying. And there's different checks that you need to go through to be able to do any of those things. This kid couldn't do any of those things. It's illegal for him to do any of them. They would just never, ever in a million years, all these people that are defending this kid would never, ever in a million years defend a black dude doing the exact same thing. You would just be like, that's a violent sicko criminal. He needs to fucking rot under the jail. And now they're fucking turning around and defending him. It's so transparent. Like, if you charge a guy with a gun, you are 100% responsible for anything that happens to you. End of story. Stay mauled. Well, luckily, the law disagrees with you. So at the very least, luckily, we are not barbarians and we have a criminal justice system that looks into the fucking context. There's a concept called due process, and I'm hoping that justice will be served in this circumstance where you can't just run around with a fucking gun, go into a conflict area, and then brandish it, and then shoot someone and get away with it. Hopefully, that won't happen. Why can't you admit that on some level it's self-defense without being completely biased? Because it's fucking bullshit. You can't go and be like, I'm going to fucking defend the 7-Eleven in another state and then start rolling around and fucking waving my gun around. And then when someone rushes me, I kill them. And then other people try to stop me from killing further people and I kill more people. And then I get away with it. I'm defending myself. Are you defending yourself or are you defending property? Oh, you were defending property and then you defended yourself on the process of defending property. Got it. Can we agree that they're all fucking morons? The kid came to find trouble and the rioters gave it to him. He only shot at people who were attempting. No, we can't do that. We literally can't do that because it's not like the kid fucking used his hands and fists to defend himself. He had a fucking weapon of murder that he illegally transported across state lines with the express purpose of using it and then ended up using it. There is no both sides in this conflict when 2 people have fucking died and a third is like severely injured. People are more horny to defend a shooter who killed 2 people and critically injured a third, by arguing and claiming that the shooter had a right to defend someone else's property while simultaneously avoiding that the people who were shot and killed had a right to defend themselves from a shooter brandishing a weapon. I think I've exhausted this conversation to its ultimate conclusion, and it's virtually impossible that we are going to arrive at a compromise. Ultimately, Kyle Rittenhouse is a teenager who is now charged with murder after shooting 3 Kenosha protesters with an AR-15, and he was an obsessive Blue Lives Matter dude who idolized police guns and the Blue Lives Matter movement. I don't think that we are at the brink of civil war, even though some people are saying that. But I think that this country does have long-standing scars that we absolutely refuse to acknowledge. I use this Malcolm X quote a lot when talking about this. When asked the question, do you think progress is achieved by these civil rights protests. Malcolm X said, what progress? It's not progress when you pull the knife out 30%. It's not progress when you pull the knife out of my back 60%. It's not even progress when you completely pull the knife out. Progress begins when you pull the knife out and start to mend the wound. Some people don't even want to admit the knife is there in the first place. I think what's happening now is that not only are people refusing to acknowledge that there is a knife there in the first place, some have taken it one step further and say, yeah, there is a knife, but we like that the knife is there. You deserve that knife in your back. The last part was my take on the matter, not Malcolm X's take. So it's really fucking disastrous that this is where we're at. Some conservatives admit the knife is there and they like it. Others say the knife is there, but what about the blood that's on the ground? I mean, that's a much larger problem than you having a knife in your back. Now you have gone and made me put the knife there, and therefore I sprained my fucking shoulder, and now there's blood all over my floor. And that's your fault. You deserve the knife for that reason.
There that was too far away and it was too dark. However, confirmed now, one person dead. What has transpired there, according to witnesses we spoke, is that a libertarian militia type person, that's the words of the witnesses, felt threatened by protesters and shot one protester in the head. And this protester was delivered to the hospital.